Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Legacy Leaders. Scott McMeans with you today. I am joined by J.V. Hooks Sr. He is the CEO of Hooks Industries. Now, there's more than just one business inside Hooks Industries. I'm going to let JV tell you all about that. But before we get into all the different details of what he does, I want him to introduce himself. I'm going to turn the camera and the microphone over to JV and let him introduce himself, tell us his story, and then we're going to get into some of the details about how we got to be from the man that started the business to the man he is right now and everything else in between. So, JV, camera, microphone are yours. Tell us your story.
Awesome. So I grew up in Cleveland, kind of bounced around a little bit because of military family. Ended up graduating Euclid High School and going to the military. Uh, Ended up doing some private contracting, some law enforcement work, starting a business, starting Hooks Industries, and then had a little bit of trouble in my life. Went through that trouble, some 4 years, 4 years in prison. I had to leave my company. Um, Had to shut it down. And then I came home and got back to work. Hooks Industries is a management company that does consulting, management, marketing. We have several different clients from boutique shop, vending operations, um, several different actors. We have a couple actors. We handle their marketing. We have a drop shipping company. We handle their marketing. So we do a few different things in the industry of management and marketing.
All right. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Because we've had this conversation before, and I give you tons of credit for telling your story. You talk about a setback. You've had a setback, but it didn't keep you down. It didn't hold you in place. It allowed you to learn and grow. So walk me through the biggest challenge you've had as you set up Hooks Industries and got to the point where now you've got actors and different companies wanting your advice for consulting and management, marketing. How did you go through that process and how did you overcome that challenge?
So during my stint in prison, I did a lot of studying, a lot of learning, a lot of working. I was actually trying to run the business from prison. So, and during that time, I gained a lot of knowledge. So I don't look at prison like a downfall. It was more of a uplifting, knowledgeable place for me to sit and learn because prior to that, I was running the business and I wasn't getting to where I needed to be because I didn't have the knowledge that I needed
Mm,
that I got from prison. So I took the knowledge that I got, took the experience, bundled it up, restarted, and just kind of grabbed a bull by the horns and took
mhm.
off. No looking back. Uh, I jumped straight into it, started getting vending machines, started getting clients, and here we are.
Yeah,
I think I honestly believe that my clients utilize the company for our services because the knowledge, the trustworthiness,
mhm.
and because of the transparency. So because of what I went through, I'm very transparent about it. And
Sure.
I don't hold anything back, and I'm very stern and candor. So if a business is doing poor, I come in and I let them know you're doing very poor. So you need to get it together. I don't hold my tongue. I let them know, and most of my clients have done exactly what I've said do, and they've seen growth in sales. So I am very ecstatic about that.
That's great. Now, one of the things that I love about what you just said is being stern and being candid. There's a lot of people out there that love to hear something that makes them feel good. They're not
Yep.
necessarily all that keen on hearing something that they need to hear that's going to make them uncomfortable. And as a coach or consultant, it's our job to really not force, but to present information so people can be educated and understand the trials and tribulations that they have in front of them are not theirs alone. They can go through it with the help of somebody else, right? But they can only get through it when they accept what they need to hear and stop listening to what they want to hear. And that's the difference, somebody who's stern and candid versus somebody who is taking a paycheck and helping somebody out along the way. There's got to be a little bit of candor. There's got to be a little bit of truth in what you do as a management consulting or marketing consultant. And that's just my perspective. I deal a lot with the mindset and something that you've gone through, and you even said, and I'm going to encapsulate what I think you said. You spend a lot of time sitting and learning and growing. And you said you picked up the knowledge. I think what you did is picked up a lot of wisdom. And I look at knowledge and wisdom very similarly, but the difference is wisdom is what you gain from the experience of bad results, good results, and you understand what gets you both. So knowledge is knowing what to do. Wisdom is understanding how it actually comes to be. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. The hooks industries that you've got going on, JV, you do a number of different things. As you've been building this and trying to run it from a very distant location, how would you describe the level of communication, the level of systematic approach that you have to things that allows you to do what you did for so long when you were away from the business?
Definitely had to have system in place. I had one person that I conferred with on a daily basis, and that person went back and conducted what I needed done, let my team know what I needed done, and basically, this person was the hands, and I was
Mhm.
just the brain. So it was very difficult, but we got through it. It takes a lot of patience, and a lot of maturity to be able to have
Okay.
that system set up. It's not an easy system. It was definitely a hard system to put in place.
Let me ask you, I love the word you made comment about patience and maturity. Um, I would imagine you had a lot of patience given the amount of time you had um, in prison. So you had patience. You were forced to have patience, whether you had it, JV, before you went in or not. You were forced to have patience. So
Yes.
I can appreciate how that came to be. I'm interested to learn about the maturity factor, and I'm not saying that you went in, you weren't mature. What I want to know is how did you gain maturity, and how did you trust the maturity on your team to allow them to do the things they needed to do. Again, you're the brains and they're the hands. How did that maturity level and that trust come to be?
So I believe that I got a little bit more mature from the experience because it really
Hmm.
humbled me. So I'm not, chasing the green. I'm not chasing the greed. It's more for me now. I need to build up the small community, the small business community instead of the greed. So maturing into humbleness was big for me. The maturity on the team, it can be a little crazy, but
Hmm.
people, once people realize that unity is what creates awesomeness and excellence instead of
Hmm.
division, that's when you get a bunch of heads and brains together and the maturity level spikes as long as everybody could come together as one. So it kind of works out when it comes to action because they now have the brain and the maturity to put that action into play.
Yeah, I love the comment here about unity is something that can bring about awesomeness, right? And it goes right back to every business needs to have a solid vision of what they want to create because they exist. You need to have a mission. What are you accomplishing? How are you going to accomplish it? For who you accomplish it? And just how good are you at doing it? But the values that you have as a culture within your business is, in my opinion, one of the most important things that any business can establish. And it's shocking to me, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it, JV, but it's shocking to me how many businesses don't have a very specific vision they don't have a mission statement. They're just in business because they want to make
Yeah.
money, right? And when you break it down, and it's an interesting, I wouldn't say cascade because it's just an interesting way that things fall. If you have a legitimate culture in your business and you have values that you stand for and the things that you will always hold true, regardless of what that means to you in the marketplace, I think you attract the right people that want to work with you, whether they're on your payroll or they're paying you for your goods, services, or products. So, in my mind, it's establishing that culture that attracts people on both sides of the equation because good people want to work with other good people. If you're not doing something that really highlights the values of your business, it's hard for people to really see why they should do business with you. Don't get me wrong. You can always pick something up at the drugstore. You can always pick something up at the grocery store or when you're at the shopping mall on a whim. But for the most part, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And because of what they know, like, and trust about you, that's the values. That's what people get drawn to. So it's interesting that you had a number of years away from the business, but you had such a trust factor in the people that worked with you that you could allow them to continue your mission and have that all work out. I'm just curious, how does that work out from a customer's perspective? How did they tap into what you were doing, and how did that come to be from the customer's perspective? Does that make sense as far as a question?
Yeah. I had a couple clients that were had a hard time with the entire situation. Um, and then I had a couple that were doing all right, so they were fine. So I think it's just like you said, the trust. The ones that had a hard time when I came home, they're like, great, we're good. We're good. I was like, well, they had a hard time trusting the team and the results, but when I got home, it was all smooth.
Yeah.
So
That's a
yeah,
testament to you, I would imagine, right? Because they knew, liked, and trusted you, and they wanted you at the pinpoint, and that's fine. But eventually, the customers have to understand that you are so limited in your ability to do everything, but it's your vision and your mission and your ability to lead a team of known, like, and trusted individuals that can serve a customer base. That's
yep.
one thing I think. Thank you. I think owners need to be a little bit more aware of whatever they create will actually be what the customers get a chance to interact with and work with. And if you're creating something that is not within your vision, then it's so distant from you that they can't know, like, and trust the people they're working with because it's so far from what they wanted originally in you, JV, right? So as you stepped away, okay, people didn't want it. Now you come back, they want you again. I would imagine a very valuable lesson for you is, all right, I need to build a system that is reliable and repeatable, that is me incarnate in each one of my individual team members. That is what people are going to relate to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I like
Is
that.
that, yeah, I would imagine, given, now that you've had a number of years of being back, you have the chance to install this system. And one of the things we talked about initially was you do have a really good set of systems in place. So let's talk a little bit about that because in my mind, systems are pinnacle on how a small business is either going to succeed or fail, right? So what kind of systems would you say have been the most influential in allowing your business to thrive and then teach other people how to thrive?
So I have a very hands-off system. I allow my team to go make the decisions on their own. I
Hmm.
bring them in, show them what I like, show them what the vision is, show them what the mission is, and what we expect, and then I let them go.
Okay.
They're I don't want to be, offensive or anything, but like baby sheep. I take them in
Hmm.
and I figure out where their place is within the system, and then I let them do what they do.
Hmm. Now I'm gonna say one of the bigger things again. Vision, mission, we already have that, right? The one thing that you made comment to that I think people need to understand is the word expectations, right? So, as the owner of the business with this vision and this grand mission, this is what we're going to do. And if you were to just let people run with just that, they'd probably be able to find success. But when they're bound to success and it's inevitable, is what you when you tell them, this is what I expect you to do, this is how you're going to be judged, and this is how our success is going to be revealed to our customers. If you lay out the expectations and you communicate them effectively, every business would be unbelievably successful if you just did that,
Yes, you're right.
right?
100%.
So what I find interesting is we keep talking about different layers, right? We're peeling back this onion of, okay, vision and mission are so important. But wait, there's expectations. And how do you do that? Well, now you need to be a really good communicator. Now you need to have the ability not to stand in front of a room or an audience of thousands and preach them what's going on, but be able to sit as a leader of an organization and very clearly articulate, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And our expectations for you are to follow this framework and get things done. If
That's
we
it.
have a very seamless communication of expectations, both ours and our clients, the people that work in between there is going to be unbelievably successful because they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing and why they're doing it, right? Because it all falls back to the vision and mission. But the expectations have to be communicated up front, right?
That's right. That's
I,
right. The
I,
whole
I love what you
communication is definitely key, man. Communication.
well, and you said, let them do what they do. Okay, but how do they know what to do? Well, that comes from you, the vision and mission. How do you know what they do? Well, you've seen them, you hired them, they fit your mold. So now you've got this organization, this system that's in play that is put together and comprised of people that know exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, who they do it for, and how they're expected to be judged. Go forth and conquer. Just go
Yep.
forth and conquer, right? It's when you miss those communication opportunities. It's when you miss the chance to talk to somebody and tell them, all right, this is customer X. This is what they're currently doing. This is what they currently want to have as a vision or for expectation for the company. All right, how are we going to do it? Let's sit down and strategize. All right, now that we have this strategy in play, all right, it's up to you. My hands are off. If you need me, call me, tug on the rope. I'll come play. I'll come help. But this is you, right? Am
Yeah.
I summarizing how you do things?
Yeah, for sure. Because I look at everybody. Everybody is an adult. Everyone is an adult, right?
You would hope so. You would hope so.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. So I, I kind of just I let the adults do adult things. I
Yeah.
don't want to be a micromanager. I don't want to be constantly checking on people. It's just it drives good people away
Yes, it does.
and it doesn't get good results for our expectations.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's a great
So I
summary of it.
just let them do them.
Yeah, I love the idea of this is an old philosophy I adopted way back when. I always called it the tug on the rope. And what I mean by that is, all right, I'm going to give you as much rope to go do what you need to do. And if you're struggling, just tug on the rope. I'll come help you. If I see you not
Right.
going in the right direction, I'm going to tug on the rope and pull you back into play. Right? So the rope works both ways. We both get a chance to really use the rope to our advantage or to our benefit. And it's either helping each other or reinforcing a message. It's never to demean, it's never to put somebody in a place where they're uncomfortable. It's always supportive. So that rope is yours to go
Always.
swing as far as you want to. Or if I see you about to wrap it around your neck, I'm going to pull it back and say, no, 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 that's not the direction we need to go. But you are autonomous. You have the authority to go do whatever you want to do. I want you to go do what you want to do and be accountable to the things I'm asking you to do because at the end of the day, whatever you're doing is going to be serving a customer. And with that in mind, that's our ultimate goal. Let's serve the customer and do things right. But here's your
Exactly.
framework, right?
Yep.
If you were to talk about your biggest challenges, your biggest lessons learned, what would be the lesson that you think is the number one lesson a business owner needs to learn before they go too far down that rabbit
Ooh. Um, biggest lesson that I would say discipline would be
hole?
the
Okay.
biggest. Learning how to learning what discipline is, and then learning how to stay disciplined.
Okay.
I'm currently consulting with someone on a business and literally building their business from the ground up, and they wanted to quit when they found out how hard it was. They wanted to quit. And I said, no, you have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
So now they're learning what discipline is and they're implementing discipline within the business now and within their own personal life because that's important too.
Yes,
You
sir.
have to be disciplined in your personal life. So I believe discipline is that's it. With
I love
that,
it. Yeah. Learning what discipline is, one. Two, actually learning how to be disciplined every day.
every
I think
day.
it was Joe Rogan who said, give me talent, give me effort, great. But the number one thing for a successful person, the number one criteria, the number one trait that a successful person has is discipline. And
Yep.
discipline is waking up in the morning and going and doing something you don't want to do, but you know it needs to get done, right?
Exactly.
That's discipline.
Exactly.
I don't want to go work out today, but I really need to go do it. I don't want to go walk the dog, but I really need to go do it. Right? It's discipline to go get things done, even though you don't really want to do it.
And everybody has those days. I mean,
Yeah.
I, I had that day today. I got up at 4 and I said, I really don't want to hit the gym. I really don't want to go to parent teacher conference this morning, but I have to. I'm disciplined. I'm going to continue my discipline.
Yeah.
And I got up and got the day started.
That's the way. All right. Okay. Now you're talking about a little bit different too, right? Discipline is one thing throughout the course of the day. I need to be disciplined. But how do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up in the morning and dread the fact that you woke up? Or do you wake up in the morning with, all right, here are the three things I need to get done today. I'm just going to tackle it. That's a different mindset, right? As opposed to, all right, well, let me scroll through Instagram for a while. Let me see what TikTok has to say. Wow, I'm going to argue with a couple people on X before I actually start my day, right?
Yeah, a
How do you
hundred
do it?
percent. I what I tell people is you have to take the animal approach. You have to become an animal. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be in business, you have to be a disciplined animal because you just can't go, oh, well, I don't want to do this anymore. And then that's
Yeah,
it. Because then what? You
it's a lot.
quit?
It's an awful
It's
lot.
hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy.
No,
And
it's not.
when people tell me, man, I can't do it. Okay, when you're ready.
Okay.
But, but I always try to push people just a little bit further because maybe they haven't had that push in life.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest um, most people need not much, but they do need a push. And when I say they need a push, it's to get over their own doubts. It's to get over their own issues. It's to get over their own mentality that says, I'm not good enough because something else went wrong.
Yeah.
What you need to look at is what is your mind telling you today that you perceive to be negative, and really take a look at it and really dissect it and figure out why is it being perceived as negative in my brain when there's no impact on me right now, and turn it around and say, how can I own this situation better? How can I be accountable for my actions and responsible for the outcomes in such a way that I step into the role of being the person I want to be, as opposed to, well, it's always this person doing that, and there's always some level of, then I really don't think that's right, or whatever. If you have the right mindset and you can step into being the right person that lives above the negativity, you can change your life in a heartbeat. And I think that's
Heartbeat.
what most people need to do is realize whatever your brain is showing you as negativity needs to be turned around because it's nothing but opportunity and prosperity on the other side of that negativity. Just go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. That the to sum up everything you just said, one word, aware, being aware.
Mm,
That's it. Awareness, being completely aware of your emotions, your physicality, your mental state, your mindset, everything, your health.
yeah.
As long as you're aware with that good. foundation of discipline. There's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah,
Nowhere to
no,
go.
JV, that's a great one. And I did a podcast a couple weeks ago with an individual that wrote a book about neuroscience, and it was self-awareness, self-recognition, and self-control. If you can find a way to be aware of who you are and recognize why that is happening, you can control your emotions, your physicality, and your mental state. Until you recognize and become self-aware, it's really hard to have an ability to control yourself because you don't know who you are in the space that you're
Yeah.
occupying, for lack of a better word, right? So once you get the ability to be aware, okay, now I'm aware. I look around and I recognize my position in this space is not where I want it to be. So I need to either get myself out of this space or improve my position in this space. And I do that through controlling my mind, my emotions, and my physicality. Like you said, those three things all come into self control. What I find interesting in today's society is we are limited in our self control, our self awareness, and our self recognition. We don't have a lot of it today. And the reason is we have a lot of people that have grown up in a society where they were told they were fantastic when they did nothing of fantasy. We've been telling people for decades now that you're amazing, but you did nothing that was amazing. All you did
Yeah.
was participate. And what we need is a recognition and awareness that our position isn't what we thought it was, but we can control who we are to improve that. And that's where I think people really need to fall into, right? Be aware,
100%.
right? You're good, but you're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah.
So that's where the recognition comes into play. And then if you have the ability to control yourself, your mental state, your physicality, right? Work out, whatever, and then have a very strong mind, you can accomplish anything. And that's where I think awareness is a very strong word. So thank you for bringing it up. A good one. What are your thoughts on running a business in today's society? I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Oh man. It's definitely different. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, I've only been home for 3 months now.
Yeah,
And the transition from 2020 to now
yeah,
was like, what? What is all this?
yeah.
And you just have to, adapt. So slowly but surely, I'm adapting to the AI. I'm adapting to the new sales techniques because the old sales techniques don't work anymore.
They do, but they're not as effective as the new ones. Yeah, you're making a good
Yeah.
point. And you know what's
Uh,
interesting? Um, what a correlation you're making right now between self-awareness, right? Self-control, self-recognition, and adaptation. They're all part of the same thing, right?
yeah.
Right? You can
Yeah.
control your mind, your body, and your soul. You can control that stuff. So that's what gives you the ability to make the adaptation or adopt or change in the way that you need to do to be better. That's learning, that's growing, that's not staying in the same spot forever. What's that? A goldfish will only get as big as its aquarium will allow it,
Yeah.
right? So get yourself into a different aquarium and
Yep.
adapt to the world
Exactly.
around you, right? What is
Exactly.
it, JV? If you're the smartest dude in the room, you better get the hell out of that room.
I surround myself with what I call my mastermind alliance. That came from who wrote that? Napoleon Hill. Um and when I created that mastermind alliance, that's like, yes, because
Yeah,
I'm not the smartest guy, and
but that's your team,
that
right? The Mastermind
that's my
Alliance is your
team.
team. Those are the
Yeah.
people. And again, this is where I really I think people need to pay attention. It's not that your Mastermind Alliance is telling you everything that you want to hear. They're telling you everything that you need to
No.
hear. And that's what
Yeah.
makes you better,
Yep.
right? That's what makes you better.
Everything, I come to them for something. Hey, do you think this is a good idea? Nope. They're
Absolutely not.
100% honest, and that's what we need. We
Yeah.
need the honesty, not the, oh well, let's just see. Let's just take this 100% risk factor. What happens?
Yeah.
No. No. The honesty is what you need as a leader as CEO because I mean, granted, how many companies have jumped and just straight in the mud?
Yep. Well,
So
they make the wrong decision and they're not smart enough to admit their own defeat, right? Or
yeah, yep.
every decision that they make is from the CEO, and the CEO doesn't accept new ideas, or when the new ideas are brought forward, they take it as their idea. So people are very uncomfortable or they're very shy to share their ideas. Being a CEO is a lot more than just being the
Hmm.
person in charge. The CEO is the person that facilitates the exchange of risk and mind share and ideas and opportunity and creativity to the point where the business can thrive. It's not just keep doing what we've been doing, it's finding better ways to do it. And you don't do that on your own as the CEO. You have, as you said, your
Yeah.
mastermind alliance, which could be everyone in the business that tells you their ideas to make things better. And that to me is awesome. That's the way it should be. I have one final question for you. We have a couple minutes left. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. JV, I'm going to put you in a time machine and send you back, and you get a chance to meet 18-year-old JV. When you two sit on a park bench, what's
Woo!
that conversation sound like?
Um, wow. That conversation will probably go something like this. Get your head out of your ass,
Hmm.
okay? Go to the military, make it a career then, because it was definitely going to be a career, and stay there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's just
Uh,
that's exactly what it would have been.
Thank you for your service, my man. I appreciate that a lot. That to me is one of the coolest things. So thank you. This has
Yes.
been a great conversation. I'm sad it's over because we only have like 30 minutes to do this stuff, but great conversation. A lot of really good lessons. I love a lot of buzzwords and things that we talked about. So thank you for being such a willing participant. And I want to thank you for sharing your story. It's not the
Thank
easiest
you.
thing to do, but it was a great story to be told. And I wish people get a chance to have the second chance that you have and take the most advantage of it that you have as well. So congratulations on that. And let's hope Hook Industries has as much success as it possibly can.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure, my man. We'll see everybody on the next episode.